we're going to talk about procurement management. Now, this is the agenda for today's session. What is the procurement? Why we need in the project? Plan procurement management, conduct procurement, control and close. Now, this is the part of the planning, and this is basically you do it in the execution, and this is a monitor and control, and this is a closing. Now, if you see this, in this procurement, initiation is not there, but other process group is, you will find the process from other process group. Okay. Project procurement management includes the processes necessary to purchase, acquire products, services, result needed from outside project. Now, the thing is that, what does mean by the procurement? Something that you need it and which is not there in your organization or is not available in your project, that is where you'll go and procure from the market. Now, something which you are not able to make it within a project, so that's also something you'll go and market and get it. That's something we do it in our projects. Sometimes we go and hire the resources. Sometimes, we basically go to the, take any equipment and tools and any hardware, any software that is needed. That is where we're going to procure from the different vendors. Now, we need to manage those things very carefully in the projects. If it is a smaller project, it doesn't impact that much. But if it is a bigger project, this is a very important activity. At what phase you need, what are the different equipments, what are the different vendors who can provide those things. So that needs to be planned properly, and that needs to be monitored because it adds the expenses whenever the resources are you in the project, but you are not using it. So you should monitor those things, their performance. If it is not needed, go ahead and release that, return that equipment, or if it is if you already hired for the if you rented it, go and return it if you already purchased, and so just make sure that it has been utilized properly. Now in this case, sometimes we go for product, sometimes go for services. It can be both. Okay, so these are the activity we do as part of the procurement. One is a plan, then we plan it, what are the things we need, and then we conduct. We basically go and get it done. Then we do the monitoring of those, the procurement that we have done it. So that will be the monitoring and controlling. And finally, when it is, our work is done, and now that is not required, that the equipment that you have hired it, go ahead and close it. Okay, so this is the process of procurement management. This is a planning, this is execution, this is a monitoring and controlling, and this is a closing. Now, the first process is a plan procurement management. Now, in this case, basically, we're going to document what is the procurement decision. Now, here, what is a procurement decision? Now, this is like a make or buy. So, should we make this, the product, within a project or within an organization, or should we go and purchase it? So, that's, we're going to decide it based on this. Project procurement decision specifying approach, what approach you're going to take it, what are the different potential sellers are there, what are the different vendors are there from where, we can purchase it. Just a second. But so, we will be discussing about plan procurement management. And so this is where we're going to decide what will be our approach and who will be your potential seller. And, that's the plan. At the end, we're going to have a procurement management plan. And that's also this will be also the part of our main project management plan. So what are the input we need? We need a project management plan that we have it till now. What are the resources are needed? Because based on that resources, we're going to purchase the, the equipment and material, whatever is needed. Risk registered, if any risk, what are the different risks are there? If you have any mitigation plan for resolving those risks in the future, you need some materials or equipment, something that you want to purchase it, that you can, go ahead and plan in the plan procurement management. activity resource requirement, what are the for different activity, what are the different resources are needed. Project schedule, what is the duration of the project schedule, because based on that you can plan your procurement, okay, when you need this, the materials and when you can release it. Activity cost estimate, for now, if for those activity, what are the resources needed? So you need to understand for those activity, what are the cost estimate were there. Based on that, the budget you will going to go and purchase it. If something, your budget, the activity cost estimate is less and you can't go for higher equipment, so you need to plan according to that, based on the money that has been planned for that activity. Stakeholder register, what are the different stakeholders are there, and when you're trying to meet their expectations, if what things are needed, so that you need to look into that. Enterprise environmental factors, where since you are going to go and take an equipment from the market or from external party, so those are external factors. They can affect your project. Now sometimes some material you are going to purchase from any vendor, and that vendor, over a period of time, that equipment of the cost keep on increasing because of the market condition. So let's take an example. You need oil, okay, anything related to the oil. You're working on a project where oil exploration works. In that case, its market fluctuates on a daily basis. So that's the internal external factor that can affect. Or if any resources, and for that resources, if demand is high, then at that moment of time you need to pay more. So those are the factors which can affect it during our procurement. Organization processes, what are the different organizations have a different guidelines, and some of them, there's one, a fixed price contract will be there, where they will say, okay, for this thing, this is the amount I will pay and I will take your services, and so that's a fixed price. Another is called as a cost reimbursement. Cost reimbursement talks about like whatever the money you spend it, and I will reimburse. Along with that, I will give you a fee. So these are the two different approaches are there. We're going to talk about this thing in coming slide. The tools and technique that we're going to use it, make or buy analysis. So here, based on whatever the requirement that you needed, you're going to decide it whether you're going to make it or buy it. Okay. So based on that, you will take a decision. Expert judgment, do the market research, and have a meeting and decided what are the things that are needed. Do you have a plan, procurement management plan? Procurement management plan, this will going to tell you what will be your approach and what will be the seller, what are things are needed, and you had your plan according to that. Procurement statement of work, this is something, that document that you can share to the different vendor, external vendor, where, okay, I need this material, this is the specification and this is the budget is there, and you can say that will be your procurement statement of work. Procurement document, list of the things that you need it and that you can document it, and from what are the different vendor they are going to provide it. Source selection criteria, on what basis you are going to select those vendors, and what is your criteria to, if the multiple vendor have providing their services, how are you going to filter it? Okay, I'm going to take this material from this vendor. So what is your criteria? What's your source selection criteria are there? Make or buy decision, you make or purchase it. So that's yes or no. Change request, if any changes that needs to be done, you can raise it. Sometimes you plan it for 2, now suddenly you feel that you needed 3, or maybe because market condition is high, you will not able to afford 2 resources, so you'll plan it once, so you'll change your stuff. Project document update, according you'll be updating a project management plan as well as resource requirement. Now the next one, that is as part of the organizational processes, what are 2 different types of the contracts are there, which organization have it with the different vendor. So the type of what is a fixed price contract, and another is a we have a cost reimbursement. Okay, so we have a cost reimbursable, and another is a fixed price contract. Now within a fixed price contract, we have 3 types. Okay, first of all, the fixed price contract talk about we set the final price at initial. Okay, this is the price that I'm going to pay for this product services. Now within that you have a firm fixed price contract. This is like a price is fixed. Now whatever if the market fluctuates for that product that you have taken from the vendor, it doesn't matter. Seller will not going to pay, buyer will not going to pay extra money. It's the seller responsibility to, take care of it if any market condition changes. If increases, that's a seller will going to take care of it. It is like I'm going to pay at initial amount. We decided on this is the amount I'm going to pay, and throughout the project or throughout the procurement when I'm going to do it, this is the final price I will be paying it. Okay, so that's called as a firm fixed price contract. Another is called as a fixed price incentive fee contract. So now it says the performance target established at the outset of final contract is determined after the completion of work based on the sales performance. Now here there is a difference. Now the price is, you will say, okay, this is the near about a fixed price, but you are going to observe their performance also, how they are, when the equipment, whatever the material you are using, and what their performance are there. Based on the performance, you can, increase, maybe you can deduct the few amounts, as well as maybe if the incentives, if it's really good or they are given better performance, you can give them more incentives. You can give them some incentives. So that is the difference. Means at initially, you think about this is a price, maybe 100K, but based on the over a duration of 6 months, the product that you are going to use it, you will observe their performance, and then you can give the few incentives if it is required. You can deduct it also. So it is basically the final contract that is done after the completion of work based on the sell performance. So after sell, you observe their work and how they will perform, and the final amount that will be whether you want to give little bit incentive or you want to deduct. So that will be determined. And now here, all the costs above the price ceiling and the responsibility of the seller. And now here, in this case, the product or services that you purchase it, and if that product services the seller has provided in that market condition, that product cost gone increased, and that's not a buyer responsibility. It's a seller. They have to provide in the same price. Okay, so they have to get it from the market and just provide in the same price. You are not going to pay extra amount. So that's why it is a fixed price. Okay. Now another is a fixed price with the economic price adjustment. Now here there's a little bit flexibility has been given. Now again it is a fixed price contract, but with the special provision allowing for predetermined final adjustment to the contract price. Now this is if the project is for 6 years and 10 years. Now that the material or equipments that normally use it over a period of time, their costs keep on increasing it. So here there is some provision is given. Okay, for this, if any adjustments are needed, they will go and do the adjustment at a later point of time based on the market conditions. So based on the there will be a discussion. Okay, and seller can say, hey, initially this was a price, now suddenly this has been increased to the 100 times or 50 times, so we'd like to have some adjustment. So this is a little bit flexible, and seller have at least something, they don't have to bear a full cost if the price is increased suddenly. So this is the fixed price contract where we have three things: fixed price and fixed incentive fee contract, and fixed with the economic price adjustment. Another is a cost reimbursement contract. Now here, this talks about involves the payment to the seller for all the legitimate actual costs incurred for completed work plus fee representing the seller profit. It means that, okay, so I'm going to use these services, and whatever the cost is, actual cost has been, incurred, I will give you that amount, and then whatever some profit, we can decide about 10 or 15% profit that I will also pay. So this is that type of contract is there. Normally, seller is also fine with that because the equipment they're going to use over a period of time. If the price increases, So it is the buyer responsibility to the do the payment for that. Plus he will also take care of my profit. So in that also there is a different types are there. Another is a cost plus fixed fee contract. Now whatever the cost is there for the equipment that the project will going to use, definitely the buyer will going to pay for that. That's amount is there. But the fees that I'm going to pay to that this vendor, that will be a fixed fee. Okay, so it's like I will pay 100K and maybe 50K, whatever the fixed fee contract. So that's why the cost plus fixed fee contract. Now another is called as the cost plus incentive fee contract. Here cost is something what the cost of the material is there, that definitely they will going to pay, but the fees will be their incentive fee. Like based on their performance, they can increase or decrease from the profit. Okay, so they can adjust that. Now in that case also this is applies for 80-20 split formula, where suppose the maybe what we can say the target, whatever the amount they initially thought about it, and if they meet the target, and so for example 100K was the target, and within that they need to fees, and if they have done less than that, so they can divide their cost into the 80-20. So 80 is something will taken care by the buyer, and 20 is basically from the seller. I think here 80 will be the seller and 20 will be the buyer. So whenever there is adjustment happen, okay. So it is just like there's a sharing formula. If my cost increase more from the services that you are purchasing or product, now the cost of that material is increased more, or the services that they are providing it. In that case, they will say, okay, I will bear this much extra amount, 80%, you will bear 20%. So that's called an 80-20 split formula. Cost plus award fee contract. So here the seller is reimbursed for all legitimate costs, but the majority of fee is earned only based on the satisfaction of a certain broad subjective performance. Now, whatever the legitimate cost will be there, but the fees that the seller will going to earn it is based on the certain the majority satisfaction criteria they set it. If you meet this much, I will pay at that moment of time. I will pay this much amount. So they have set some criteria, and that's where they are going to observe based on that. So these three types are there. Now the procurement management plan basically consists of these things, and where what type of contract should be used, and whether you will go for cost reimbursement or fixed price. Within that, if something different contracts are there that needs to be specified, against what will be the estimate to be verified, from where you are going to verify whether any estimates are there, if the seller have given it. So how you are going to verify that this is the actual price, or maybe you can take a third party opinion or do the market research and see from a different vendor what is the cost of the same product. Are that independent statements are required? If any, do you need any independent person, or did they can estimate it? Who will prepare them? Recommends any pre-qualified preferred vendor, and what are the standard documents that we're going to use? The request for proposal, contract, or SAW. What is the lead consider assumption? So like before how many days I need this material? So if anything that you need to specify in the procurement, and that needs to be specified, any assumptions are there. What are the different metrics that you're going to use for managing the contract and seller? So these are the things that basically the procurement management, or more or less, will have this information. Now another is the conduct procurement. Now you have planned it what you need it. Now go ahead and take it from the market, just purchase it. So what are the things you are going to do? Process of obtaining a seller response. So you take the seller response, then select the the seller and award the contract. So these are the activities that you do as part of the conduct, and this is done in the execution phase. The input will be your project management plan that you will get it from the previous process. All the output that you will have it, project management plan, procurement document, procurement statement work. So, source selection criteria, make or buy decision. So these are will become your input here. If you see this, procurement management plan, statement of work that you are going to give it to the vendor, procurement document, source selection criteria, make or buy decision, seller proposal. If a seller have given their proposal, so based on that, you're going to review and give it the contract to them. Project document. What are the organization factors that can affect when you're conducting the procurement? If any, they have any existing guidelines are there, so that needs to be looked into that. The most important part from this topic is a bidder conference. They ask what is a bidder conference. Bidder conference is like we're going to call it different vendors into the conference room, and we can answer their questions on the specific requirement that we have raised it. So that at least every vendor have a fair idea about the requirement. So there should not be, just to avoid any bias. So it is more of like a different vendor can ask you different questions about this requirement, and then you can answer it. So everybody will have a fair idea, and then after the bidder conference, they can submit their proposal. So that's basically the bidder conference is there. Proposal evaluation technique is like how you're going to evaluate it, just by using manual evaluation, go to the requirements, or maybe you have some different criteria based on that you're going to evaluate it. Independent estimates, if any third-party estimates are there, that needs to be basically taken care of it. Expert judgment, take a subject matter expert on this conducting the procurement, where you can decide to whom you need to award the contract. Advertisement, since you are planning to have a you need a different responses from the different vendors. You can advertise your what you need it, and then the people can submit. Normally the people, if you see that government organization, when they do the big project, so they advertise it on the paper, on
Raj?
Analytical technique, good. Analytical technique is where you can use some analytical technique to decide it to whom you're going to give it the contract. Procurement negotiation, if you need any negotiation, that needs to be done it. The output will be your selected seller. You're going to finalize the seller who will be, you're going to give the contract. Agreements, you're going to make an agreement with them. Resource calendar, when you need those resources, so you can specify those details to your vendor also. Change request, if you need any changes that needs to be raised, you'll be updating your project management plan and document based on this. When you these equipments will be available or resources will be available. Based on that, you will be updating your project management plan updates, project document updates. This is very simple. This is a more of from the execution. Now, as I said, from this year, there's a bidder conference, which is in the exam. Sometimes they ask one or two questions based on that. As I said, your bidder conference is where the different the vendors they can sit in the conference room, and where you can take their queries, and you can explain your requirements to them, so that every vendor have a fair idea about the requirements. So it's basically the meeting between the buyer and all prospective seller prior to the submittal of bid or proposal. So before they submit a final bid, so it's just like having a conference with them. Now the third one is the control procurement. So here, what we have done first, we plan it, what are the things needed, then we conduct it according to that. Then we're going to monitor this procurement. So what are the services that you have purchased or equipment? So you're going to monitor that, okay, and you keep on monitoring, so that they have been utilized properly or not. And if the material that you're purchasing from the different vendors, are they providing on a time? If there are any performance issues are there, so that's all those things you're going to monitor it. It's basically the process of managing the procurement relationships monitoring the contract performance, and making changes and correction is needed. If it is required, you're going to make a correction and changes. Maybe like a performance not good, then maybe you can look for a different vendor, or maybe you can they take the money from there. Based on based on the performance, you can take a call. Now the input will be a project management plan that you have it, procurement document, because based on that you're going to monitor the services, agreement, and approved change requested. If a change request which has been approved it, and like initially you need 2 resources, now you are asking 3 resources, and if they have been approved it, and work performance report and work performance data, this will be give you that your what is your status on the services that you have used it, okay, and that will be as part of the work performance report. And the work performance data is like what are the things you have, what's the current status in terms of like 3 services you have asked it, and whether they have provided, how many resources they have provided, 2 resources they have provided till now. So it is like and how much they have completed, 60%, 30% of the work they have completed as part of the procurement agreement. So if you, whatever the agreement that you have made it, so that will be your raw observation, and that will be the actual data. And as I said, this is a monitoring and controlling. You'll have a work performance data as input, then you'll have these work performance information, change request, project management plan, project document, and organization. This will be your output, as similar like other control process. Now here you will going to focus more of the procurement wise. You'll see their performance and see how they are, you're going to observe that when they have delivered, what are things are expected, how much percentage they have provided it. Contract change control system, just like if any, basically during a monitoring and controlling, sometime if any change that needs to be done in the contract, so you will going to have this, it has to go with it, contract change control system. So that is where you're going to note down what are the new things are needed, and note down the logs are there, what are the changes you have done in the contract. That's part of the log. Procurement performance reviews. So you're going to see their performance, like how they have provided the services. Inspection audit, do the inspection audit. Performance reporting, you can, how they have provided the services, you can, note down the report and basically create a report for that. Payment system, when you're going to do the payments, and if their performance is not good, you can go ahead and deduct some amount if it is required, if it has been agreed in the agreement. Claim administration, sometime, the vendors claim that you have used my services extra for this much duration of hours, so I will claim this thing. Record management system, this is more of attendance system, or you can have the record of the services that you have purchased from the vendor and how they are, when they have been utilized it for how many hours. So you can, you can have that, the data as part of the record management system. The output will be your work performance information, that, as I said, the monitoring and controlling, work performance information, change request, project management plan updates, project document updates, and organization processes. Now the last one is the close procurement. Here basically after work is done, you can just close the procurement after any services that you have you needed, and now that's not required, or as per the agreement you decided now that's the end date. You need to close that. You need to send a mail and to your vendor and do their payment, do the close procurement. Okay. So the project management plan will be there, procurement document. This is part of the closing. Okay. A project management plan and procurement document, and then you do the procurement audit. See that everything looks good. If any procurement negotiations are there, like after services is used, if any negotiation in the price, because they did not provide the services that you expected, so you can negotiate with them. Hey, I will pay this much amount because your services are not good. So, and you have some negotiation with them. You can record management system will tell you when you have used that their services, and you have full details of that. Okay, just like maybe you can document in the software or maybe in your this book or attendance system. Then final output will be close procurement. You are going to close the procurement, and then you will be updating your organization process in any lesson and any contract, your whatever the agreement and contract that you created, so that you will be stored as part of the organization process asset. That's good. So this is one of the simpler topics